Hi, I'm Kenny Castro, and I'm here at Focus Springfield, and I'm moments away from checking in and chatting with Chris, the owner of Games and Friends, newly opened December 2nd of 2021, and we're going to be talking and having a nice conversation about some of the events that they've been hosting at the space and the upcoming Yu-Gi-Oh tournament on August 20th that they are hosting. And please take a look out for this one and the recap of the event that we're going to check in with Chris about post Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. We're going to check in with some of the contestants and one of the organizers, Julian, afterwards, and to see how everybody felt about it, some of the things they could improve if they feel like they could improve on it, and just some of who they want to invite next time around. And with that being said, let me welcome Chris into the conversation. How's it going, Chris? I know you are the owner of Games and Friends, right? And we're here to talk to you a little bit about your shop and also about the upcoming Yu-Gi-Oh tournament that you got going on, right, on August 20th.
Correct. Yep.
Perfect, perfect. So before we jump into the tournament or talking about any of that, how did Games and Friends come about? I know it's a fairly new location. Opened up when?
December 2nd in 2021. So
Perfect.
last year, we're less than a year old.
Less than a year old. Hope opened up in the middle of the pandemic, right? How
We
was
opened
that?
up in what we thought would be like, hey, coming up on Christmas time and the Omicron second wave.
Yes, that was
came in
that was
about
rough
2 weeks
right there.
after we opened. So
I can only imagine that was one of those shockers, right? You said, wait a second, I wasn't expecting this to happen, right?
100%. Yep.
So with that happening, right? What were your thoughts? Like you opened the shop and what were you trying to bring with this shop? Like the community that you were trying to build. What are you trying to offer the city of Springfield with the shop?
Very briefly, I'll give you similar answer to that I gave when WWLP came out, and that is when I was in my mid-teens, there was a shop that opened near me, and as a very awkward teen, they it was a place where I was very comfortable. It was a my people kind of space. So yeah, I mean that was the thing. I had this nice little spot where I could be awkward out in the world, come out of the world, and it was its own little contained place of happiness. And this
Like
was
a safe
kind of
space, right?
I guess you could call it that. Yeah. I don't know that we even had that phrase back then. I mean, this is back in the mid '80s or so.
Dating yourself a bit, dating yourself, but it's all right.
But again,
Listen,
hey,
Chris,
I'll take getting older. You get one alternative to that. So
right? And actually, I'm very excited to see that you say that because I would say I grew up in Springfield. Like I arrived here when I was in seventh grade. Didn't really have a space like that. I was very much into animes, into board games, video games, a little bit of everything, and I didn't have anywhere where I could just go and just kind of explore that side. High school and middle school, I went and I did my sports that I enjoyed.
yep.
But really, where could I be my natural geek self, right? So to see that you're providing that kind of space is exciting. Like especially as I have a 10-year-old son who's into all of that, right? And I know we talked about some of the things you guys offer. Can you like outline some of that, some of the weekly stuff that you guys do at the shop so that others can know about it as well?
The largest part of what we provide is space for folks. We have a large amount of gaming space. We have table space. We've got a TV that's up on our wall that will play various, your Marvel, your DC, or something like that. Just something that's put up in the background that people can watch while they're playing their games. But they don't even have to play games. You can kind of see behind me. We have a little community section there, and that is all just games, books, a little bit of manga you can play, use, read in the store. None of that stuff over there is for sale. All of that you can just use and then just put back when you're done. So if you're playing games, you have some reference materials. If you're in and you're just looking to kill times, there's some board games or card games you can play. There's a little bit of manga that's over there that my wife helped me get a hold of because she's a Springfield librarian. So that's the main thing. Is there is a spot, you know what I mean? So we have free Wi-Fi that you can use for your phones. You can just come in and literally chill. You can either join up with your friends or sit off to the side. It's whatever. That's been kind of the idea from the beginning.
That's amazing. That's amazing because honestly, you know, that doesn't only provide the space, but it also lets others meet each other, right? I understand you guys got a Discord for the shop where others can join, kind of touch base, kind of make some meetups right at the shop and coordinate information, and kind of from what I was told, that's how one of the event organizers actually, ends up setting up where he teaches Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Julian, it's through Discord.
Okay.
Sometimes somebody will say, hey, can you help me out with XYZ? And he's like, meet me at the shop at X time, right?
Julian has been a big time when it comes to any somebody who's new to the game, somebody who's coming back to the game, somebody who is just wants something that's close by. Julian has been kind of Johnny on the spot, if you will, to get people back into the game, to get people playing the game, to help them teach the rules, to build their Yu-Gi-Oh decks, A to Z, 1 to 100. That's what Julian has been doing for Yu-Gi-Oh. So
That's amazing. So talking about getting back to the Yu-Gi-Oh, right?
yeah.
How did the tournament come about? Whose idea? Who brought it up to you? What's the story behind it?
Strangely enough, it was somebody who plays another game, Magic the Gathering,
Okay.
who is kind of like the Julian for Magic. He had a hold of it's a custom piece of a Yu-Gi-Oh deck box. It's a beautiful piece, and he was like, "Hey, I have this thing. I'd like to donate." And then it was, okay, well, what are we going to do with this thing? And so here we
Yo.
are.
So are we saying this custom deck box is that whoever wins the tournament's gonna walk off with that?
They are. Yep. There
That
100% of all the proceeds that go into the tournament are in prize support.
that's amazing. That's good to know. So anybody that wants to go check it out, do know that proceeds are going towards the tournament, towards the prizes. And that's amazing. So how many organizers do you have helping you put together this tournament?
There are two at this time. So there's Julian, of course, and another person by the name of Gabe
Okay.
has been also right on top of all that stuff as well. So they've got like flyers. They made up your applications. They've got the Google site so that you can sign up. They put all of that together. All I had to do was just be here and say, "Hey, I'll host your tournament," and then they're running with it. Your various communities are very motivated to grow them, and Yu-Gi-Oh as is generally not quite as large as others, so the people that are in it are commensurately more motivated to get that word out, to come on down, to come play, to come do your Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. And there's apparently there's such a dearth of Yu-Gi-Oh places that people are shocked that there's one that they can come and play. That hey, there's a tournament over here. So
I- that's amazing that you bring that up because I was actually going to ask, are there any other places or shops that are hosting tournaments in the area?
I don't know if there's other places that actually host tournaments. There's a number of other shops that host spaces for them. I would assume that there are other places that host tournaments and whatnot. It's just that for Yu-Gi-Oh, they tend to be on the younger side, not like necessarily kids. There are kids through adults, but if you're here and here's your adults,
No?
most of them tend to be from there. So
Okay.
there's not a lot of travel time
Mm,
that they can reliably get a hold of. So there
okay.
are some that can, much like Julian and a few others, but of course they're not going to ferry the entire community around. So
Exactly.
this spot, we're close by. We're right at the end of a bus route, so they can get straight to us. So,
That does sound amazing, and I would assume, what do you think? Do you think you're going to see a lot of individuals kind of come out from outside of Springfield to come in for the tournament?
for this one, I'm not entirely sure, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm not quite since this is our first one,
Yeah.
I'm not sure how magnetic it will actually
Okay.
be. What I am fairly sure of is that once that goes off, then you'll have much more of a word of mouth that goes on.
Yes.
And so those that can travel probably will travel. We had
Well,
our second Warhammer tournament not too long ago. And from there, we had folks that, compared to the first one, travel further out to come down to this one, driving several hours to
Wow.
come down to it. So once the word is out, if they say if you build it, they will come. So if
Yeah,
there's
so
nowhere
it's
else for
all
them
about
to go.
getting the ball rolling, right? Letting the momentum speak for itself. Let it roll, and it'll pick up all the stragglers, right? That are looking for a space to, participate in a tournament, right? And they say, oh,
That's
wait
the
a
plan.
second. They see pictures, they see the outcome of the first one, and they say, well, I think I could take that person on who won.
Yeah.
They hear about the deck, and they say, oh, well, I have a better deck than that person, right? So they might come out and say, well, let me put my skills to the test, right?
I am sure that hey, it's a competitive card game. You're gonna get the competitors, and even for those that are not quite as competitive, um, just knowing that there's a spot,
Yeah.
they may challenge the tournament winner to a little private competition, and get that
Gauge
little
the skill set.
bit in the back of their head that says, "Yeah, I can beat him," you know.
They'll go in there, and I think it's time to duel, right? Let's to get this going.
Oh, they do. They do. Oftentimes I'll set them up kind of actually right
In the
behind me.
back.
They like the little private community spot there at this time.
Yeah,
And
it feels personal back there.
it does feel very personal back there. They set up, they chat. There's a lot of regular social intermingling that goes on before they pop down. So you'll get them, they're chatting and they're friendly and they got their snacks and their drinks and they'll talk and they get their stuff out and then boom. Is that
Exactly.
yeah.
Now it's time. We've
Now,
set up. We got what everything. We're. I've gauged you. I see how you are. You're not nervous. Maybe nervous. I got my snack now. I'm gonna sit down. We could get going.
yeah, they're less nervous with each other because they're all friends of some sort of intermediaries, but they're all very friendly with each other. There's no real competition. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Right?
Yep.
Each one is kind of looking uh, to up their game. That's
Yeah.
the point of it, is to get better at the game. And folks
And
like
iron sharpens iron, right?
uh, iron sharpens iron. Yeah, that's our Warhammer League going on right now. That is
Yep.
the competitive get ready for tournament kind of deal that's going on. Yep. So
That's amazing.
yep.
So
The first one of that was what's called a escalation league, and that was
okay.
basically for beginners. So it starts you lower, you build up, you get used to the strategies, bigger, that kind of deal. And this is go back to that again after this one. But I really am looking forward to getting Yu-Gi-Oh into those same kind of leagues and whatnot.
Rotation.
So that you can get one that's okay. Here's one for new folks starting out. Here's your basics, how to play, and then maybe the next roll around for some kind of, if we can get like a Yu-Gi-Oh league that goes on.
Yep.
Okay, now you've got the basics to play. Here's how to win. You know what
Nice.
I mean?
Okay, that's perfect. So, I've heard some of your ideas, and I was going to ask, actually, what are some of the shops, not just Yu-Gi-Oh, not just Warhammer, what are some of the shops, short-term and long-term goals within the community? Like, what kind of things are you hoping to set up, like tournaments, shops, like, learning shops, or even collaborations that you're trying to get going at the shop?
So in the last couple of weeks, we've actually had a bit more of a growth spurt, if you will. We kind of hit some, I don't know. So we hit some kind of little speed ramp and took off in some word of mouth recently. So we've moved up from, okay, there's this event on this day, and we'll just kind of keep it up in our head. There's this guy, this group, what have you. So okay, now we have a whiteboard and we've got all this stuff up here. So here's the days that these people are playing. So you start to organize so nobody is like
Overlapping.
on top of each other.
Mhm.
And now on our website, we've had to go for a full Google Events calendar. So that shows everything on the weekly basis that goes on. All our tables are actually numbered now. So we know who's going where and when, and what kind of table space they need. We have extra tables that we keep in the back. It's a little tough to see, but our actual game space is a pretty decent size. and we've tested it out for recent tournaments. That is really expandable. It's very modular, so that we can really move that out. We have our TV is pretty new, so what we can do is when we do things like Warhammer, when we do things like Yu-Gi-Oh, we can cast tournament results right up on the screen while they're playing it right there. So,
No, that's
but
amazing.
the whole idea is to have the space for people to come play their games. That's always been the idea. Make sure we have the room. We've done a lot of basically kind of looking to see how we can modularly move things around for as we grow, so as we have more people in house, like foot traffic, if you will, and that is actually looking fairly positive. So we've got a couple of ideas in mind to expand some tables up into the front. So
Nice.
and that's the people having a spot to play has always been the general idea, and it's find ways to let them have that spot as we grow. So we're not just jumping people, everybody on the same table. Make sure we have the space, make sure we have the chairs, and of course, actually, I didn't even mention the community space that we have behind us. I started with a little bit of a seed library, if you will. I brought in some of my own old books or games and put them back there. And then, but at this time, 85% or so is customer donated.
Yes.
That's
That's amazing.
A good portion of that center piece is one guy who donated a bunch of his stuff, and others donated games, and others donated books, and that's
And that goes to show the community you're already growing at the shop.
that's
They're
growing.
willing to come and donate so that others can enjoy some of the things that they already have had time with.
Not only that, but a good portion of our like top of shelf decoration, very little of that is mine. I put a couple of pieces up, and I've got somebody who's donated in like pieces for a couple of Marvel things. There's little Thors that are around. Somebody's got a whole Gundam collection up on my shelves, and of course we don't own them. We don't sell them, but they like to display their stuff, and so that's what a lot of it is. So almost
amazing.
like I said, if you come in and you'll find things that are like toys and figures and whatnot up on shelves, almost none of that is mine.
That's funny to hear. And I can attest. I know you gave me a tour this past Saturday, and I actually will say right here, I love the space.
Thank you.
How spacious it was, how you had the tournament set up, and just the flow of being able to walk. And now felt as though, wow, there's a whole tournament happening, and I'm still able to walk freely in this space and take a look and explore, and not be in anyone's way was remarkable. I'm so used to some spaces where I walk in and they got something going on, and I'm bumping into people and I'm saying, sorry, I know you got a tournament going on, but you had a really great setup. So I would invite anybody that wants to take a tour, wants to check it out, go check it out.
And here's where I'm going to give a little extra credit to someone else. I had an idea in mind of, I wanted to make sure that you can have space in between, because a bunch of stores, you want to cram as much product in there as possible, and that kind of comes at the expense of your personal space. Well, a lot of us are less comfortable being as close to a bunch of people as possible. Well, my best friend, Jesse Chisholm, who is also my store manager. So I had the idea of, I want to do this kind of thing, but every piece of everything you've seen here, every piece of furniture is there because Jesse put it there. Like he made that design. It flows front to back because Jesse put it there.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you see it, right? The community is great where you don't even take credit for the design. You say, hey, my best friend handled it, right?
Hey,
the stuff here, the community donated.
Yeah.
Hey, that is perfect. And if anybody wants to take anything away, is that, Chris, you seem to be an amazing store owner, and
Thank you.
We're hoping to see more events out of Games and Friends, and to cover them, right? So
I missed the last part. I'm sorry.
And to cover them, we're hoping to cover some of those events in the future.
Hey, I hope you do. I mean, you are more than welcome to, come on down, see the events, talk to the people.
Thank you, Chris. So I won't take too much of your time. I know you're getting ready to open up shop, right?
Yep.
And we look forward to the recap of the tournament when we'll check in, see your thoughts, how you felt about it. Maybe talk to a couple of contestants, check in with Julian, and all of that at that time.
And I just want to say thank you for making me feel comfortable as well.
You're welcome, Chris. You're welcome. I told you it would be a flowing conversation.
Mission accomplished.
Thank you, man. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. Right back at you.